Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. If you guys have been subscribers to me for really any length of time, you'll probably notice I haven't really been filming any new videos. I haven't really been uploading very much. And the reason for that is because over almost the past 2 years, I've been sort of meticulously planning out my wedding, and the last couple months were really crunch time for me in getting all of my last minute things done. But it finally happened. It's all done. It's over with. I am now married. So I thought I would come back on and start to dedicate some more serious time to my channel. I will do the best I can with that, and actually making sure that either I have an upload schedule, or at least I'm not leaving you guys hanging quite as much. And I'm going to sort of diversify my channel a little bit. I'm still going to talk makeup and do my unboxings and things like that, but I also found that what I learned during my planning process for my wedding are things that have been really helpful. I have a couple friends, because 2022 is the year of the wedding. I've got a couple of friends who have already been asking me advice, things that I would change about my wedding. So I'm not going to talk too much about that in this video, but keep an eye out. I'm going to be probably filming later today my 5 top tips for your wedding, just to kind of make your day as enjoyable and as memorable as absolutely possible. But for today's video, what I thought I would do is kind of go right back to the basics and do a makeup kind of trying on some new stuff, some old stuff, really trying to replicate a makeup look from another YouTuber. So the YouTuber that I'm talking about is Kelly Strack. It popped up in my feed, my recommended videos, and it was easy 10-minute summer makeup look. Now, I have already watched this video. I've picked up some products from this video that were specific to this video. Other things I've sort of substituted my own versions of. But everything I go through, I will talk about what she uses, what I'm using instead, and other recommendations that she made. Now, I'm not going to put the video down here up for you guys to see, but I will link the original video down below. She says that this is a tutorial that literally anybody could follow. And I do find that a lot of times when beauty YouTubers put up videos, they're not accessible to somebody who is novice with makeup. Even myself, I play with makeup a lot. I have a lot of makeup, but I am by no means at a professional standard quality of it. So it's going to be really important here for me to see how actually accessible this video is. So I have got it sort of pulled up on my phone. That being said, I'm not going to watch it with you guys. I'm going to sort of watch it in bits and pieces, tell you guys what she says, what she recommends. And like I said, if you guys want to go straight to the source and watch this video for yourself, as opposed to watching me do it, then I will link it down below. So the first thing that she talks about is primer. So she uses the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer just to fill in her trouble areas, so where her pores are. Now, where her pores are, where she's applying it to, is sort of this area here. I find that right here, my pores aren't super enlarged. For me, it's all about the T-zone and across my nose, so I'm just going to pick it up. Now, something interesting about the Putty Primer is that when you first purchase it, it's almost like there's a hardened layer on top. Just sort of, I'm just going to kind of try and show you. So this top layer is almost like a waxy layer, and you kind of have to warm it a little bit with your hands. But once you get under that initial smooth layer, it is really malleable, really easy to work with. And that is a really nice change from some other pore filling primers. I've tried a few. I really like the Tarte, the Silk Canvas Pore Primer. I think that would be really good for this as well. It's a similar consistency texture. Of course, that's if you already have it. I wouldn't necessarily recommend purchasing it because it is a very, very, very expensive, as opposed to the e.l.f. one, which is super, super affordable. I'm just going to put it on my chin a little bit as well. But there are tons of pore filling, pore refining primers. It's all about picking one that works with your skin the best. This one is a little bit hydrating, so it's nice for me. It doesn't pill up. It doesn't react weird with foundation. So that is the first thing. Okay, so next up, she talks about going in with a little bit of glow. And here's where she starts to sort of give you guys options for what you could use. Now, I already owned one of the products, and that is the Hollywood Flawless Filter. So this comes in by Charlotte Tilbury. calibrated. This comes in a fair few amount of colors. I have the shade number 3 light medium. This is from when I was tanning much more frequently, but it still looks really good. And right now my body is a little bit darker than my face just from using like self-tanning foams. So this is an option you can use. It applies on a doe foot. She also talks about the L'Oreal Lumi Glotion. I used to have that product. I got rid of it some time ago just because I had so many things quite similar to it that I felt like I didn't need all of them. And the other product that she mentions, and the one that she actually uses, is this Saie. This is the Glowy Super Gel. So I have both the shades. So I have this in Star Glow and also in Sunglow. You guys can probably just see from the bottles that the Sunglow is much, much deeper. Now, when she does this, she uses the Sunglow. I have tried the Star Glow and I love it. Oopsies. It is fantastic, and it also provides a little bit of hydration, which she does talk about in the video. She applies this with a brush. I'm just going to use my fingers. I have not tried this darker one yet. I'm hoping that it'll just give me like a little kiss of color that I can kind of even out with foundation and bronzer later. But like I said, I haven't tried this. These do remind me a ton of the Glam Glow Mega Glow like moisturizers. So I have that in, whoa, this went everywhere. So it is really, really dark. So I have that Glam Glow one in a few colors. I have it, this is really dark. But you know what? It is just sort of giving me some redness. It's super like, is it staining? No, I guess not. It's very orange based. So this is not looking the greatest. It's turning me super red, which is quite interesting. Even my hands have gone a little bit red. I found that when I used the other one, it was a lot nicer. So I would just suggest that if you're fair like me, hopefully I can make this all work out with foundations and whatnot. But if you're super fair like me and you're interested in trying this product, get the Star Glow, don't get the Sunglow. I got both just to try it out, but I will say that it has turned me quite red, quite orange. Like I said, maybe it's just because I'm touching my face for the first time. I don't know. I'm gonna put it down a little bit too, just so that it evens out. Now, she also applies it with a brush. Maybe that was my mistake. Maybe I put too much on, although it certainly didn't feel like it. But like I was saying, Glam Glow does have their version. It comes in a little pot. They also have a Nude Glow and a Sun Glow. I think that those are a really, really nice comparison to this as well. Now that it is kind of settled, it's not as red. I think it was just a little shocking at first. So next up, we're going to go in with a base slash foundation, depending on what you want to call it. And the one that she uses is the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Nude Glow. So this has SPF 40 in it. I chose the shade Fair. There's a lot of choices. I think there's about, I can't remember how many I saw, but I chose the shade Fair just to give because I always figure going a little lighter is a little better. I can always like warm up my face with some bronzer. Now, I do not like the original It Cosmetics CC cream. I find it way too thick, way too full coverage. It clings to everything. But in her video, she said that this particular one doesn't do that. It blends out really, really well. And I'd be lying to you guys if I said I hadn't already tried this, but I have, and I actually do really like it. I really like the way it looks. I think it settles out really nicely on the face. It doesn't cling to anything, and it wears really well all day. Something else that she does that I don't normally do, I normally use a brush to put these kinds of products on. Today I am going to be using my beauty blender. Now, she uses a very, very specific like Koki sponge. I don't have that. I just have a regular beauty blender that I just put a pump on, and I'm just sort of like patting it on my face. So it's just, I'm going to do one side so that we can kind of see the type of difference that it makes, and then I will oopsies, go back in and do the other side. So is this the most full coverage? No, it's not. But, you know, for summer, you definitely want to be light. It does definitely give you some dewiness, some glow. It almost has that like wet kind of a look to it, which I'm a really big fan of. It's kind of my favorite. It has made this side a lot more even, a lot less red, definitely more dewy. So let's match the other side now. So I have used about 3 pumps so far. This is my 3rd pump to do, I'm pretty sure, my whole face. Every time I've tried this in the past, it is a little bit goes a long way. And what I would say basically with any kind of product, this one inclusive, is start with a little bit. You can always add more, but if you go in with too much, sometimes it can be really difficult to blend out, and you're also wasting it. And again, this is not an inexpensive product. It does cost, like, I can't remember off the top of my head how much it is. I will link all of the products down below that I use with all of their prices, so that if this is something you do want to try and do, something you want to try and replicate, they'll be pretty easy for you to find down there. So there is that. Okay, next thing that she does is concealer. Now this is a concealer that I have not used in so long. So this is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I used to really like this. I've gone through a few tubes in the past. But this is the one she used, so I kind of wanted to give it another go, try it out again. I chose the shade Fair Light Neutral because for me personally, I do want it to have a little bit of a brightening effect. And I think in the past, my problem was one of the shades I went to was far too yellow for me. I don't have that much yellow undertone in my face, and the other one was just too dark. So I'm using this not only for under my eyes, but also just to do some spot concealing as well. Now, normally I would let this tack down a little bit, but she doesn't, so let's not. I also would normally, on a regular day, go in with a cream concealer as well. I'm a big fan of the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. But we're going for a less is more kind of a look. And basically she says in her video, like, some of the reason that she, you know, chose that CC cream and then goes in with a heavier concealer is because the main part of her face is very lightweight. And then she just uses that concealer to really spot correct and, you know, take the bagginess or the darkness out of her under eyes to make herself look more awake. Okay, next up we're going to add some color to the face. Now, unfortunately, the bronzer that she uses in her video, it is the Soul Face and Body Bronzing Balm. It's sort of ColourPop's sister brand. I did order it. Unfortunately, because I live in Canada, the shipping does take a little bit of time. It comes from DHL, which is notoriously slow to get up here. So she did offer some sort of counterparts, I believe. I'm not sure she mentioned any of the ones that I have, but I'm going to talk about, I've got 2 of them in my hand, and I feel like there is a 3rd. Like, I feel like this would do the same job as like that Chanel Soleil bronzer. I'll put a picture of it here that I've wanted for forever. It's like this whipped balmy bronzer, but I have 2 alternatives here. One is a less expensive one. This is the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. It comes in a whole bunch of shades. It's pretty good. It's got a nice texture to it, and it is very affordable. But the one that I'm going to be using today is the NARS Laguna cream bronzing cream, whatever. This actually comes in 4 shades. I got the shade 01, so this is like not the original shade that it comes in. This is one lighter than that. And the other thing that I purchased for this is this IT Cosmetics Heavenly Luxe Complexion brush. Complexion Perfection number 7 brush. So it's got an all over brush and a concealer brush. She uses this one. She swears by it. She says she's got like 4 of them. So I thought, let's try this out. Okay, so where she seems to place this is sort of in the typical places you would. Now, I don't contour, so let's try this. I have been using this bronzer. I really like the way that it sits. Again, it mixes really nicely with foundation. It does come on kind of dark in the beginning, but you just sort of blend it. This is actually a really nice brush. And I just do like a couple like dabs in here. Like, I'm not scraping to pick up product or anything like that. A little bit does go a very long way, is what I've noticed. I'm really getting back into like the cream products. I was sort of away from them for a little while because I found that they were sitting kind of weird on my face. They weren't lasting quite as long. Also, just as an FYI, she sort of puts bronzer on her, like in the hollows of her cheeks and then shapes around her face. If you guys know me, I like to kind of have an all over bronze look. I don't like to do the very specific place. Hence why it looks like I'm putting a ton on. I'm really not. I haven't gone back into the product a ton. I'm just sort of blending what I did take. Because like I said, I want to look like I have a little kiss of sun all over. So super highly recommend this NARS bronzer. It is expensive, I am aware, but it is really, really good. The next thing that she uses is one of the e.l.f. Putty blushes. Now, I don't have those. Again, I tried to find them, but up in Canada, it's sort of hit or miss where you can get e.l.f. products, and where you do tend to be able to get them, we're sort of behind on the launches, so they didn't have those at the time. So what I decided to use instead is a close, like, not even second, like a good comparison to that, and that's the NARS Air Matte Blush. I originally had every shade of this. Over time, I've kind of culled my collection down, so I've decided to go with the color Rush. It's like this really pretty coral, and it's very similar to actually the color that she uses. Now, I could easily use that Complexion brush again, but what I'm going to take is I have this MAC, doesn't even have a number on it. It did at one point. It's just like a flat kind of brush, and I sort of, it's almost like a stippling brush. So I pick up a little bit. And then again, I think it very much depends where you like to wear your blush. I like mine concentrated mainly on the apples of my cheeks and a little up. There's been a few times where I've had my makeup done. Oop, geez, that's a lot. And they've gone too high with blush. That's a lot of blush. Just gonna go in with my beauty blender and try and like tone it down a bit because I went a little heavy-handed. But again, these blushes in particular, I've never tried those e.l.f. ones that she uses, but the NARS ones are really nice. They sheer out beautifully. They still give you that little bit of glow. And that's kind of what I like with this makeup routine is she talks about she wants this glowy makeup look, and then she doesn't load up her face with a bunch of powder, which would inevitably take it all away. She sticks very much to the cream products and stuff that's really just gonna add that kind of balminess and dewiness to the look. And so far, it has been working quite well. Okay, so the next step is one that I'm going to skip. She has this like serum spray. It's like this truffle oil spray. I looked into purchasing it off Amazon. It was like $50 for a bottle. I decided I didn't really need that. I think what it's more for is like if you're really dry or really want to give yourself a quick spritz, you can. There are other products that will do this, like you can use different kinds of setting sprays and they'll have a similar effect. I'm just going to skip that step in general. The next thing she does is she leaves most of her face just like cream and dewy and glossy, but the one place she does set is her under eyes. Now she uses the Makeup Forever HD setting powder. I don't have that, but what I do have is a brand new spanking new setting powder. I picked up the BareMinerals Mineral Veil, and this one is the SPF 25. And you know, I don't know, I picked it up just because I thought that I don't have a reason. I just picked it up because I've tried this a few times, the translucent one. I'm hoping that this one's is still translucent. And I've just really enjoyed the way that it sits. I think it's not... Now, normally I would put this on with a beauty blender, but she uses a brush, so we're going to use a brush. And she only puts this right under her eyes. So that's where I'm going to put it. So there is some color to this one. But I think the whole point of just putting it under your eyes is you're putting it in the place where you don't want any creasing. And that is at this point where you would probably get the most creasing. Normally I would set my whole face, but I'm trying to follow this tutorial as closely as is humanly possible, considering I don't have all the products, and that's all she does. All right, something I missed, she also takes that powder and sort of brings it down her nose. She says that she does this kind of like as a cheat contour. Again, I'm not going to do that, but especially for me, because I do have concealer sort of in and around my nose, I think it's not a bad idea to carry it down because, again, you're going to see some creasing and some movement basically anywhere that your face moves. And I have a very expressive face, I've been told. Okay, the next thing she does is something that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. She goes in to do her eyebrows, and before she actually like takes a brow pencil and chisels out her brows, she uses a brow gel first. And I'm guessing she's doing it to sort of like put them all in the correct order, make sure that they're all going the way she wants them to. They're all up and kind of out. I'm going to flip this up a little bit and sort of just do my brows the way that I like to do them. I feel like everybody does their brows a bit of a different way. My brows are pretty okay naturally, and a lot of the reason for that is I was never one of those people that waxed, or I over tweezed my eyebrows one time when I was younger, but other than that, I've been very hands off my eyebrows. Now, I don't have like the eyebrows that like Cara Delevingne or anybody like that has, but I do have this natural arch to my brows. So all I'm going to use is this Hourglass micro pencil. It's probably one of my favorites. I do prefer these like little retractable ones. Now the ones that she was using, I'm just going to look in her list so I can tell you exactly what she used in case you want to get those, was the Wet n Wild Mega Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. So that was the gel she put on first. Then she used the CoverGirl Micro Brow and the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow Pen. Again, I'm not going to do that. I am just going to stick with what I have, what I know. And I think I've tried that CoverGirl brow pencil, and it was either the shade didn't work for me, because unfortunately, a lot of the time when you get like light brown or dark blonde shades, they kind of come out a little bit more red. Even this one's pulling a little bit red on me. But I feel like that one was particularly bad for it. So I like to avoid that. Basically, all I'm doing is I'm doing bigger strokes through my brows. And then as I get closer here, I'm sort of doing little flecks. Like, I'm not moving my whole hand. I'm just sort of flecking with my wrist, just to kind of like draw in some little hair, like, you know, structure, and just fill in a little bit. And the nice thing about this, because I don't have any kind of gel or anything in, it's very easy to remove if you overdo it, as I have done. And then I take the spoolie and I sort of brush it out, even it up, and I can see that I went much darker on this one than on this one. Now, something to remember, your eyebrows are never going to match completely unless they're like tattooed on. Your brows aren't twins. They are, I think, cousins is the way that I've always kind of referred to it as. So they're never going to be 100% perfect. They're just going to be close, better. I don't know. They look really funny right now. Like really funny. Maybe it's just because I haven't had my eyebrows on for a while. Maybe I overdid it a bit. I'm actually just going to drag that down as well. That might make me feel a little bit better, and it does for sure. Yeah, they were just too stark. Alrighty, but what I will do now is, and I don't do this all the time, I do have my MAC Clear Brow Gel. So again, if you are, and that's kind of what's weird to me, is I'm surprised that she used the gel, and maybe I just need to watch it more closely. I'm surprised she used the gel before she filled in her brows, because I've always known it to go the other way. But what do I know? All right, next up is where she kind of gets into her eyes. So what she does is she picks a bronzer, any bronzer. What's your favorite bronzer? For her, she's using a Makeup by Mario bronzer. I'm going to use my iconic London bronzer. This is the Ultimate Bronzing Powder in Light Bronze. It's just a really, really pretty color. And she's basically going to use this for eye makeup. So I'm taking a big fluffy brush, this is the MAC 224 brush, and I'm just going to pick up a bunch of bronzer, and it sort of just looks like she's just using this to kind of build in her crease. She doesn't do anything crazy, just sort of does that. And then what she does is once she's gotten most of the product off, she again takes it down her nose and kind of uses it as a contour. I don't tend to contour my face. I've already got, in my opinion, quite a like narrow face. So my fear with contouring is that it sometimes can make my face look very like sucked in and weird. I'm not a big fan, but since I'm trying to follow a tutorial, I will do it. My nose is crooked. My mother pointed that out to me so kindly one day. I think at one point in my life I broke my nose and just didn't notice it or something. I have taken a couple volleyballs to the face over time. I assume that that's what happened, but yeah, my nose shifts a little that way. So interestingly enough, next she goes in with mascara. Now I believe she uses a Milani Lash mascara. That's what they normally are. A Milani mascara. She also mentions the Item Beauty Lash Snack Mascara, which is what I have here. The weird thing is, like, she uses like the one mascara to do her whole eyelashes. This one for me is more of a primer slash lower lash, because I do find that it's got a very, very, very small brush and it's better for like lengthening, and then I put a volumizing one on afterwards. But we'll use it. I also did not curl my lashes. And something else I'm noticing, this mascara is very flaky. I'm seeing a ton of fallout from it on my face. Not a huge deal, to be honest. So my tip for that, and I've given it several times, if you have fallout on your face of mascara, do not panic. Do not try and get it off right away. Give it like 5 minutes, wait till it dries, and it will just fleck off. Whereas if you try and get it right now, you're gonna smear it all over your face and screw up your whole makeup. So the other one I'm gonna use is the STILA Magnum mascara. This is like the XXX Magnum. And it's just a super, super big brush, big volumizing mascara, because, you know, for me, I feel like I don't have much going on my face in terms of like any eyes or any color, and I know what lip I'm going to use is also not that way, so I kind of want my lashes to be a little bit bigger and bolder. You could easily put on a false lash, but this is supposed to be a 10-minute easy thing. The only reason it's taking me so long is because I have to keep going back and watching this video. For a highlighter, it looks like she uses a fan brush, which I have, and goes into a Physicians Formula Butter highlighter, which I don't have. I used to have a couple of them, but over the years, again, I've gotten rid of them. So I'm going to use something that has kind of a similar consistency to those, and that is my ColourPop Super Shock highlighter. I'm going to try it with a fan brush, although I've never done it with a fan brush. I've only ever put this on with my finger, and when she does it, she just says like a little goes a long way. So I'm going to do sort of a similar thing. It's been a long time since I've used a fan brush to put on some highlight. I do tend to prefer my Natasha Denona one. I don't know if she put it all there. I think that's just a habit of mine. The thing is I kind of do agree with like not going overboard with the highlight, because at this point you've already got a dewy bronzer, you've already got a dewy foundation, a dewy blush, so you don't really want to overdo it with how glowy you're going to end up being, but you know, just a little something something, a little shine, always really nice to add. I think we're almost done. Next up, she goes into her lips, and she uses the NYX lip liner in the shade Nude. I don't have that lip liner. I do have a MAC lip liner in the shade Boldly Bare. I sort of figured I'd go in with that, and then I am going to top it with a kind of like glossier lipstick as well. Now, if you just wanted to do liner, you could definitely take any sort of a liner and not only line your lips but fill them. My only problem with doing that and then leaving it by itself is that I find that if you have any dryness to your lips, it's just a little bit more visible with just a pencil, whereas if you can put something creamy over top, that's another thing. Like anytime that you're gonna, you know, have some chapping or some cracking of your lips, a moisturizing lipstick or a creamy kind of finished lipstick is always going to look a little bit better than a matte lipstick, because the matte one's just going to cling to those spots. So the next thing I have is this L'Oreal Glow Paradise in Beige Eden. It's shade 108. And it just gives it like a little pop of something. So again, because this is a fairly like no makeup kind of a look, if you wanted to do a bolder lip, great time to do it, great opportunity. So she ends up using a lip oil to fill in her lips. I don't have that lip oil. I didn't even notice it was a thing, to be completely honest. It is the Sigma Renew lip oil. So she uses that to sort of fill in. It's kind of similar to what I did. You just find something glossy, moisturizing, something that's going to wear really nicely throughout the day. And finally, in order to set her face, realistically, you could use any setting spray that you have. She uses the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray, so I will use the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. It's not my favorite setting spray. It's not my least favorite setting spray. It's just one of the good ones, right? There's tons of really good setting sprays. It just depends on what you're looking for. Maybe different ingredients set you off differently. I don't like the Urban Decay Chill setting spray. I don't like the way it feels on my face. Big fan of the Glam Glow Glow Getter setting spray. There's a ton of good ones, so we're just gonna set. Lots of sprays. You definitely want a setting spray that's not going to mattify your face. I know that there are setting sprays that do that. You want one that's going to keep you looking glowy and dewy. So that is it, honestly. I'm pretty happy with it. I know I subbed in a couple of my own products here and there, but the basic idea of following the tutorial was the same. I got products as close to it as I possibly could, and I would say that this is a very, very achievable tutorial. You don't see those a lot on YouTube. You know, you get these beauty gurus and these beauty YouTubers that are fantastic at what they do. They look amazing, but it's just not achievable for anybody else. This was very, very achievable. I think realistically, as long as you could even do the whole thing, I'd say with your fingers, as long as you have a beauty sponge in order to maybe do your concealer and your foundation. You could even use the sponge to do the cream bronzer, to do the blush. Don't get hung up on the tools. Don't get hung up on the high-end stuff, because you know what? I feel like she listed really, really good drugstore alternatives. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this kind of video where I try and replicate, you know, tutorials that other beauty gurus do to try and see how achievable they are to the average person, let me know. I would love to do some more of these. As I mentioned before, I will link all the products down below, as well as quick links for you guys to get to them. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what other, you know, cream products or other things have you tried that maybe I could substitute for these. Let me know. I love hearing from you guys. And if you're not already and you want to be, then subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.